So today I just want to take some time and talk about the franchise of Power Rangers as far as the cartoon TV show, the two movies that came out for the first group of Rangers and the Turbo movie, along with the new one that's going to come out this year as far as what I've seen so far and what I've read or heard. So, as far as my personal my personal experience from growing up with the series, I watched all the way up to at least Turbo, and then after that, I think I want to say I did watch some of the other series, but it was just one or two episodes apiece. But 4 or 5 months ago, I went ahead and binge watched the entire franchise, minus the movies, up to Super Dino Charge. I believe that's what it was. I believe that's what the last one was. Yeah, Supercharge, Dino Supercharge, and I haven't seen any of Ninja Steel yet, but I've seen full episodes of Ninja Steel yet, but I've seen clips from the Power Rangers YouTube channel. So as far as I guess you could call it nostalgia, for the first 4 or 5 seasons, it still holds up from my memories of the original 6, and then the replacements for Zach, I think it was Zach, Trini, and was it Trini or was it Kimberly and Jason? It was one of those two, and well, of course, the third season, and then Zeo and Turbo. They all held up the same way as they did before. I. Anywho, Space was a really nice little twist as far as where they did their fighting and how they did their fighting, and the ending of Space was also interesting as well. It wasn't just straight up, "We win." It was actually one of those kinds of moments where, if you watched it for the first time, you probably were like, no, were in disbelief the fact that Zordon gave up his life for the betterment of the universe, and they went on their way afterwards. But it was really well done. And then from there, they just went anywhere, in any direction from in space. They didn't have to have Zordon at all anymore. And I believe at one point they mentioned that it was just going to end with the end of In Space. But considering the feedback that people gave to them, made them want to continue. And so it went on. Not only did they go still in space, but they also went through time. And they also did other things. Oh, they also did the whole ninja thing like 4 times. 3 or 4 times. They did more car things with Overdrive, things like Overdrive, and they did Time Force. More drag. Oh, well, I've never seen them do a theme solely about dragons. Well, I guess Mystic Force, but their swords weren't dragons. Anyways, as far as the rest of the series is concerned, like the biggest surprise moment I had while watching the franchise was in Dino Thunder, when they had Jason David Frank come back and reprised his role of Tommy. I almost said Johnny. Of Tommy, and had him go and become the Ranger that he always wanted to be, which was the Black Ranger. I remember back they had an interview with him, and he said that he always wanted to be the Black Ranger. He always wanted to be the Black Ranger. And the fact that up to the end of his little span, he'd only been green, white, and red up to that point. I had a feeling that, well, not really a feeling, but it was nice that they had done that for him. Now, in Dino Thunder, he mentioned that he had lost his powers for good after Turbo, I believe it was. But there is one little thing that pretty much either makes or breaks for that statement, and that is the Forever Red special that they had in, what was it, Wild Force? Yeah, Wild Force. The Forever Red episode they had in Wild Force, which had Tommy come back and reprise his role as the Red Turbo Ranger. And when I heard him say that he lost his powers after being the Red Turbo Ranger, it made me think, okay, does the Forever Red fit into the timeline, or does it not? Because of what I had just mentioned. And honestly, I want to say it doesn't, for some weird reason. I believe it was just one of those, hey, the Red Ranger got a new, toy to play with. Let's just have a special to have him use it for a brief moment. But it was also another interesting thing that they did to bring back Lord Zed's Serpentera. I just remembered the name of it. Yay! But everything else in the franchise was really good. And it was a nice little touch they did with RPM, where they were in an alternate timeline. That was really fun. That was a really nice season to watch. And then you get into the whole, hey, we're actual samurai. And they dealt with time travel again. But it was for 2 episodes? And then you go into Megaforce, where they mentioned Zordon having trained another being. And that was really nice. And then they had the big battle at the end of... first episode of Megaforce. The dream that he had didn't happen until the end of Super Megaforce, which was weird. Kind of reminds me of what they did in Yu-Gi-Oh! The second episode foretold the end of the whole entire Duelist Kingdom tournament. Yeah, if you rewatch that episode, you'll see the end of it. And then you had Super Megaforce, which, when they transformed, they became pirate ninjas. Pirate ninjas. Pirate Rangers. Which, up to that point, there was no Pirate Ranger set. It was interesting, to say the very least. As far as the Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge, that opened up a whole new timeline when they finished up the whole story behind that. They could definitely open up a season of Power Rangers where humans and dinosaurs had coexisted, especially with what the end of Dino Supercharged had. Um, and it was really well done. Now, I talked to someone about Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge, Dino Supercharge, and they actually could they asked who the ET guy was. Um, his name's Keeper, but that was rather funny. For me to have been asked. So now to talk about the two movies. The first movie has nothing to do with the main timeline. It's just a alternate one. It's about Ivan Ooze. Yeah, the big snot bubble or bubblegum. I want to say snot bubble. But anyways, I remember watching it back when it came out, and it really did have its own. It did feel like its own thing, apart from, of course, it being its own thing. Uh, the fact that the Rangers actually wore what looked to be armor when they transformed. Now, the only major thing in the Zords for the I guess it was I want to say it was called Return of Ivan Ooze or something like that. The Ivan Ooze movie was that the Red Ranger's Zord was completely different in the movie compared to the TV show. Now, in the TV show, I believe the Red Ranger's Zord was supposed to resemble Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. And in the movie, the Red Ranger Zord, I believe, was a gorilla. So, yeah, that was the only big difference between the two. I want to say the other Zords were the same. Just the Red Rangers was changed. But, the movie, I still remember bits and pieces of the movie, especially the beginning where they had Bulk and Skull jump out of the plane shortly after the other six did, and they landed near a construction site. But yeah, that was I still remember parts of it. And the other one, the Turbo movie, that actually does tie in with the show. It gets mentioned in the first few episodes of Power Rangers Turbo as far as the injury that had taken place during the movie, during the beginning portion of the movie. So if you want to watch the whole thing of Turbo, you gotta watch the movie. Uh, yeah. Now, to end it off, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about what I've seen as far as the reboot movie and my thoughts behind it. So, Power Rangers, the reboot movie. From the first trailer that I saw, I believe from the first trailer I saw, I honestly would never say it destroyed my childhood, because there's too much there in my childhood as far as cartoons and TV shows to have my childhood destroyed or anything like that. But it was definitely not the same thing. Now, if it was just a straight up remake, that would be a little bit different, but this is a reboot. And as more and more information started coming out for the reboot, it made me realize this could actually be a good movie. Now, as far as the basic plot is concerned, I believe it's the same thing. Rita comes to Earth. Rita wants to destroy the Rangers. Yada, yada, yada. And then they fight and they find Zordon. which is the father off of Malcolm in the Middle, from those who've seen the show, or I believe his name was Walter from Breaking Bad. Well, the character name, Walter from Breaking Bad. I've never seen it, but I have at least read some stuff about it. And the fact that she dons the colors of the Green Ranger, and it's a nice little theory that Walter's character Zordon was the original Red Ranger. Sorry about that. In this movie is interesting, but it'll either be confirmed or denied with the actual release of the movie. Now, when they showed off what the Zords looked like, I want to say it's because people got disgusted by it, but I want to say the reason why they looked the way they did was due to the fact that toys nowadays, especially with that kind of thing, are made more with plastic. Now, something a little bit comparable to that is take a look at the Voltron toys they came out with recently. No way would that have been made the way that they did as far as size 20 years ago. Now, if you bought the actual Voltron toy, the whole thing 20 years ago when the show was in its height, you would have gotten all 5 pieces and would be able to put them together. And I'm actually kind of lucky I live near the Voltron store. But anyways, like I said, the way that they look when they actually showed off the toys for the Power Ranger movie, I want to say it's because of the fact they're plastic, not, die-cast steel. Not to be, defensive about the toys. Oh, I didn't make them. Well, technically I didn't make them, but it's just more of, okay, what were they made of? That's pretty much it. So, as far as the entire thing is concerned, once again, it's made of plastic. Can't really fault the movie for the toy lineup. But I really look forward to watching the movie. I really do. And I might at least post my thoughts on Twitter on how I enjoyed the movie, or little nitpicks, if there were any, about the movie itself once I actually go see it. And I believe that is it. Wow. I think I went a good 20 minutes talking about this. About 20 minutes talking about this one thing. Jeez. Anyways, so that's going to be it for my discussion video of the Power Rangers franchise. Hopefully I will be seeing Ninja Steel in the near future, either through YouTube or through Netflix. But yeah, from what I did see of Ninja Steel through their YouTube channel, it looks really nice and looks promising, and the premise behind it is very unique. It's very unique. So anyways, till next discussion video. I haven't planned one yet, but till then, folks, goodbye.